Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Prize, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is my report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentine, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Del Borovic as Morgan Rolls, and Josh Halbot as Gideon Vega. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band are desperately trying to escape Mars. Valentine's ruse convinced Sandor Rafferty to get him to Terra. Attikus accepted that Morgan had to be left behind. Gideon escaped the landspeeder crash unharmed, and Morgan watched as Toby was torn apart inside a Titan. Will threats from Valentine's past destroy the Imperium's future? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
Imperium transmission, Soul Sector. This is Commander Johanna Krix. Yes, the reports of a Tau fleet entering our space are true, but rest assured that the regiment of Phineas' finest will handle it. We are more than capable of dealing with the Xenos threat. We do not need Adeptus Astartes' assistance, simply the pure might of the Imperial Guard. Morgan, you have just watched Toby's insides become outsides as Octavius Blackhand, the heretical rogue tech priest, tears into Toby's chest, roots around a little bit, like he's looking for, a prize at the bottom of a cereal box, and then just rips out a transponder and says, "Oh yeah, this should do. Great, thank you," and begins to carry it away. At this, Voidstain kind of leans down and says, "I'm so sorry that Lord Blackhand did that, my lady. I know how important Toby is to you."
Morgan starts to fake cry as she turns towards Voidstain. How did you ever survive living with people such as this? And she's gonna...
Can I ask a question from the side?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but you have a mind impulse link that links you and Toby. So what is the experience like for you with a mind impulse link if Toby is torn open?
Yeah. Well, I think that I don't know that she feels pain because she's never felt pain from Toby getting beat up or having anything happen to it. But I think that is just now her entire feed is just sideways lines and nothing. It's totally...
Cool. I just wanted to check in case it was pain. I didn't know if there was an emotional thing because he's been beat up, but he's never been this beat up.
Yes. And I think that's I guess that's a good thing to note for Morgan's emotional state of why she's okay, picking Valentine over Toby, and her way that she attaches to things is everything to her is a tool. So it's the Toby that she cared about was a person who died a long time ago. And she liked having the reminder of that person. But the actual bird itself, she's not emotionally attached to, in a similar way that, she misses Eli because Eli made her feel safe. Mm-hmm. She doesn't actually care about Eli being happy or sad or dead or not, or it's all very selfish.
Yeah, we got that from your carriage rides with him.
Yeah. So I think that it's that being destroyed is frustrating and feels like a limb of her own cut off, but not in an emotional way of oh, my friend is gone. Mm-hmm. Because on top of it, even Toby, she could never talk to Toby or emotionally connect with Toby because anytime she did, she would be staring at herself.
Ugh.
So it's not it was never an outside party she could invest emotionally in or that she could connect to. It was this is my third eye, but it actually made her upset to look directly at it because it would be looking in a mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's one of those weird things where I think from the outside you would think exactly as Voidstain thinks, and she likes affecting that Voidstain would think, oh, she's upset by this because she can use that to get him on side. But in the scheme of things, it's she's always number one. And the only difference has been now she is holding Valentine and his life at the same level of hers, which is the biggest change for her. Mm-hmm. But it's Toby was never there.
Right.
So, yeah.
Damn. So he looks concerned, obviously mostly for your well-being, but he says, "Well, you must understand when the Duke and I were floating on the damaged hovercraft as the planet fell apart. We were both considering our own mortality. I assumed that I would have died in service to you and your goals. But then Lord Blackhand found us, and I saw an opportunity. He reminds me in some ways of you and your friends. He's very capable. He's very driven. He has a mission, and he seemed to want to exalt. Well, I knew him as Mr. Figuerello, but apparently the Valentine is his real name, who you've been traveling with. He wants to raise him up, and he collects good people like you. So it seemed fine, and I'm soft, Captain. I'm not a strong man. Despite my knowledge and learning, I learned this watching everything that went down on Greybridge. I'm not strong enough to survive out in this world, so I saw people who could make me strong, and where Wixthrop gave in to his feelings of betrayal and rage to train and to harden himself for this world, I tried to make myself someone who would be useful to you. Not as useful as Toby necessarily, but a second Toby perhaps, so that whenever you came back, should you need my sword arm, and he looks at it again, like legitimately, it's like it's like sailor muscle now. It's like thick arms. It would be ready for you, which I suppose brings me to the question of now. I thought Lord Blackhand would be a blessing for you and your friends, but it would seem, it looks Toby, and you, swelling from having your face bashed off the floor.
Oh, yeah.
It would seem that perhaps your goals are less aligned than I'd hoped. Do you need me to help you get your friends here so that they can help?
She's just nodding at Voidstain and will say just under her breath of, I understand, and I'm glad that you survived. And you have helped me. I just need you to think about your past and your house and what it means to be consorting with heretical demons, she says, looking over at Lyric Monster.
And he looks over and he looks at the ring that survived kind of the fall of his house, and he says, Yes, I think I understand what you mean, my love. You've given me a lot to consider. Meanwhile, downstairs, Valentine, Attikus, and Gideon, you've just dismounted from a crashed land speeder, named for the fact that it flies over land, not a person. I don't give a shit. You've got a Crimson Thatch Scout Marine trying to kind of Mr. President you through, but it really is like a helicopter pilot with a pistol kind of situation where he's got like a bolt gun out. And the web portal is still very, very far away. Blackhand hasn't worked out the transmitter yet, so you don't have an open line to him yet. I'm just curious if there's anything you would immediately do kind of post-crash.
So to make sure
you steal back the...
Yeah. To make sure I'm following who is with us, we have one Magos who's randomly following. We have the Scout.
Yep.
We have the three of us.
Correct.
We have Arcoflagellant.
Yep.
And we have Jeffrey.
Sure do.
But we have none of, no actual Marines got on board with us for this flight.
No, this was like an embassy extraction. They're like, get on that chopper, we'll cover your exit. Valentine, for your purposes and what you've observed, it's clear that, and what you know about the Crimson Thatch and where they sit in the hierarchy, they may have unleashed the Necrons. They also need to put down the Necrons in order to look like the heroes. But like, they're trying to ultramarine it. They want to be the big glorious heroes. So they want to get you to your thing, but they also... They opened Pandora's box and now they have to close it real fast. So
yeah, Valentine just in his head confirms that they are a lesser chapter than all of the others that he's dealt with, because if they have an ultimate goal of the defeat of the Emperor and their own rise, and instead they're staying here to deal with a Martian invasion they also triggered as cover, they're basically children. With the status he has been given and the key he is to their plan to be sent with one scout and no backup, these people are idiots.
Well, admittedly, they've got the guy who's supposed to kill the Emperor. You're just a nice bonus. Like, if you're a contingency within contingencies.
But the Necron is like third sub-objective is eliminating Necrons. They don't even need Mars for their plan. These people, just confirming Sandor Rafferty's band of idiots are truly not great Marines. But racing through here, the one thing he would check, because the thing he has going for him is cold logic. He doesn't have the ability to reach out to any of the other Marine groups. The scout is useful, but ultimately it's just the group moving forwards. However, someone has a tracker on him, and he could logic that out because the Titan knew to fire on the land speeder, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Valentine or his team. So there's something there. So he's just auspex out. He's able to narrow the band of his search. He needs to know what feed is going between them and the Titan. And he knows the majority of the sensors are in the head, because Imperial STC design means that's pretty simple. So can he find this tracker?
Yes, with that amount of specificity you can, and it is in Eugene.
All right. He's just going to take Eugene, flip him over, and see if he can spot what this thing is. He's also going to bring over the Magos, because Valentine is not a tech guy. He's just going to say, there's a tracker in here that is sending information to that Titan. I need it removed.
And the Magos just looks up at the Titan, looks at the speeder that got shot down, said, yes, that would be advisable, and digs in there. I'm not going to roll for the Magos, because I think he can find it easily enough. It is spectacularly well hidden. It's really next level shit. But again, it's Blackhand is a next level genius tech guy, but the Mechanicus just think about tech shit all the time. So to anyone who's ever looked at Eugene in your party, impossible to find. To this guy, it's oh yes, this. Yeah, this is a transponder. It looks like, I know it looks like a normal circuit, but this is a bad one. This one's newer than everything else in the head.
Understood. Valentine doesn't hand Eugene over to get looked at anyways, so this makes perfect sense. He would take the transponder out and quickly piece together a plan. He can't get where he's going because he doesn't have a vehicle currently, which means the only vehicle that is available is the Titan. The Titan also will undoubtedly draw fire from the Mechanicum and could be destroyed from orbit by the Crimson Thatch chapter, because it's a threat to everything that's going on here. Also, it's very strange. He doesn't want that to happen. He also can't have someone tracking him if he's going to try to do anything clever whatsoever. So he is going to turn to the scout and say, I understand you're trying to protect us. There's only one way to effectively do that. The Titan needs to believe that we are not here. Also, I need you to reach out to the Crimson Thatch. You need to find a comm relay. Take this with you. They'll believe you are me. They will not fire directly on you if what I've overheard is correct. Get to the comm relay, confirm that I am leading an assault on the Titan from within. I'm aware that sounds completely insane. There's no way the Skitarii are involved. Here is the interior of who is running this. He's also going to give that image he was given by Morgan to the Marine, and he's going to acknowledge Morgan is an asset of high value. Everybody else is a corpse. He doesn't know what their loyalties are. He doesn't care. Kill everyone else. But if I can take that Titan, I will continue forwards to the warp gate and make my way to Terra to complete this plan. Otherwise, if you can get in contact with the Titan and you hear any voice other than my own, feel free to destroy it.
And he takes the tracker from him and says, thank you, sir. You will ensure that the other Marines know that I did excellent duty in this, brave duty, that I was head and shoulders above my fellow scouts.
If you reach the comm relay and relay this message, there will be no doubt as to your abilities.
Excellent. Excellent. They will have to acknowledge me then. Thank you, sir. Sticks it up under his breastplate and just takes off running, just parkouring over shit as he runs off.
Attikus is going to point up to the massive Titan and look over at Gideon, just give him a nudge and say, that is a Titan.
I'm sure he's been kind of slack-jawed since we got shot down as he stares up at it and then just nods his head and, oh, okay. And now what?
Now we're going to go get it.
Oh.
Yes, we're going to make this tremendously simple. Everyone, listen up. Magos, you are going to be of paramount importance to our overall success because I have no access to any of my usual tech adepts.
Okay,
Wonderful. Deactivate your comm beads. Deactivate your comm beads. He's just pointed at all his people to deactivate them. He's going to take his out and offer to the Magos and say, I need you to bounce this so that it will not give away our location when our enemy is undoubtedly able to speak to me through it within moments.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm sorry, I thought you wanted me to fight something. This is very easy.
No, I need you to play to your strengths.
Oh, yes,
we'll
very
play
good.
to ours.
Yes, here you are.
Thank you. And he pops it back in. Any Imperial Titan, the interior is made up almost entirely of stairwells, gantries, and other internalized defenses. Traditionally, they are crewed by Skitarii and are designed to massacre anyone who is trying to move through the entire facility. There are no lifts. There are no fast ways to do it. It's consciously designed to prevent invasions. However, this ship, shows them the internal data slate, is currently being run by about 7 people, and only one of them is plugged into the systems. If we can get to one of the feet and we can make our way on board, we can make our way up and storm the head. This becomes our Titan when we can kill all of them. I'll try to engage in an emotional distraction as much as possible. Unfortunately, we're seeing the return of people we've dealt with before. Attikus, you may recognize the Duke.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Clearly, he has fallen in with arch-heretics and those who are hunting us down, currently who stole our Titan, have kidnapped our interrogator, and fired on us. I cannot understand their intent, but undoubtedly it is evil. Do you have any emotional attachment to the Duke?
No.
Perfect. Execute on sight. Unless the situation changes, our goal is to massacre everyone who is not Morgan Rawls.
Done.
I think you would notice Gideon like staring at that list of heretics for like he's not listening to what you're saying. He's just looking at it.
Gideon,
and, like,
I see you looking at a list, but I need to make sure you understand. We're moving through the Titan, and we're killing everyone.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
We may need to make a ploy to keep Interrogator Rawls alive.
Absolutely.
So do not open up all of your powers unless the time is right, unless the order has been given.
His eyes like flick down again and then come back. Of course not, Inspector. Inquisitor. Sorry, this is a lot.
Honestly, between you and I, Inspector is fine. We move for the feet of the Titan. It will move. We'll need to cross and catch somewhere in the path where it will be going. This way. It's a kaiju, so it's like it's moving in a straight line. Basically, the plan is to hitch a ride and then climb up the interior and then kill everyone.
All right, so I'm going to need... Okay, actually, I'm going to cut back upstairs for a second. So the Titan continues to move, and it's those big lurching stomps. This particular brand of Titan is, I would say, about 10 stories tall. Like it's a big boy. That said, Mars is like a lot of, like particularly the old Imperium planets. Like it is city deep. Like the factories and everything else run real deep. So you can imagine this thing kind of moving almost at mid-chest level through the city as it like breaks through temple structures, and it's a lot of Omnissiah shit that it's breaking down, factory, laboratories, that sort of thing. I would say that Valentine and Co., you're probably about like mid calf in terms of like how far down the land speeder went as it continues to walk. But yeah, Morgan, you feel it lurching.
And if Morgan's able to, she would basically continue to fake cry into Voidstain's like sleeve, like bury her face in that, and then do like the hitched shoulders of like I'm dry sopping, while saying subvocally, L1, see if you can use any of Toby's parts to repair yourself, if possible. We need to find some way of stopping these heretics' plan. Anything that you can do, I will be very appreciative.
And on the next lurch, you notice L1 just roll off the like little like box she was on, and just kind of like as the head moves, just roll over and thump next to the dissected Toby. Perfect. And you just see a little cable. Perfect. That's it. All right. That's all she can do for right now. And Voidstain says, "You." Actually, Morgan, can you roll me? Let's see how into this he is. Can you roll me deception? Yep. The deception of Sacature Voidstain. All just right. a classic roll.
Continued. How difficult?
I mean, like not much. I think 2.
Okay.
Because he was pretty committed to a plan he thought made sense in terms of like Valentine is the guy. This is good.
Yeah, and she's doing her best to play it as straight as possible.
100%.
For this.
Yeah. So you get there's gonna be so many boosts. You get a boost for touching on the chaos thing.
Yep.
Yeah. You get a boost for being sneaky.
Okay.
You get a boost for wearing his ring.
Woohoo!
I think that's all the boost I'm gonna get you from those. I will give you a setback for just the like you're like probably mildly concussed.
Yes.
Like Black Hand doesn't have the same soft feelings, so he used a metal hand to bash your head against a metal floor.
Absolutely.
I think that's probably it.
Okay, I'm gonna just roll it. 3 successes, 2 advantage.
Nice.
Yeah. So you can tell he's like, he feels badly about this, but he actually untangles himself from you. It just kind of like makes sure he places you down gently, but does place you down. And he just kind of smiles and leans over and like kisses your forehead and then says, I think I understand what needs to happen here. And Octavius Blackhand has figured out the transmitter, and he's just holding like a chunk of Toby kind of up like a cell phone. He's like, hey, Valentine, why are you making this so difficult? Come on, I did all this for you, and you're running away and flying around, and I see you making tracks across Mars. I stole a Titan for you, buddy. I want to give you a ride. Why are you running away? And around him, just again, like everyone's doing their thing. And Varn steps up very, very calmly. No one is looking at him. Again, not unlike Greybridge. He just doesn't exist to these people at all. And he just very calmly walks up behind Alto, and without a glance back at you, just rams his sword through his back and into the controls. And suddenly the Titan lurches. Everyone gets flung forward. And he quickly grabs like Alto's head and just cranks it down. And immediately the Titan follows. So it lurches forward, steps, and like basically drops to a knee. And in a flash, Lyric is on him and just like rakes her claws through his stomach. And you just watch Viscera kind of fly out the side. And he just like eyes wide in shock, but also like doesn't move to defend himself at all, just literally like getting the Titan to do this. And then she boots him, like just Sparta boots him into a wall, and immediately like draws the blade out of Alto and is like tending to him. But outside, Valentine and co, as you're kind of rushing up towards the like many story stairs climb, you see this thing just lurch, stumble, and kind of break forward. So you're actually kind of like waist level rather than low. I'm going to need some athletic checks to jump in there.
And I'd love to pass forward 2 boosts to the next check. So for my 2 advantage, just 2 for whatever.
Not even
next.
A single one for Void Stain's survival checks.
No.
Rough.
He's not an Inquisitorial
I kid because I love.
All right. What's our difficulty?
Because this thing stopped moving and has kind of taken a stumble, I'm going to say difficulty 2. It's not in motion.
Okay.
And because it's crunched through things, the odds of finding something you can leap and jump off of. This will be athletics. Difficulty 2, boost for, I think, already being in motion. This was like what you guys were planning on doing, so you're not caught flat-footed. It's a pleasant surprise, but it's not...
Yeah, it's something that happened in our favor that we were already moving towards.
It's not a change of plan, exactly. We've got boost coming forward from Morgan. I'm inclined to say we give that to Gideon since he's the least athletic, athletic dude.
How many boosts was that?
2.
Sick. I need it.
And I think it kind of makes sense that like as Gideon starts to fall further into the realm of maybe I do have power, maybe things will work out for me, it's like this thing taking a stumble is like, yes, it's all aligning. Like this is good. Yes, of course.
I did this.
Yeah. So we got that. Plus he doesn't want to disappoint the inspector. So I think that's it roll wise. Anything else you'd want to make a case for? Anybody? Attikus, you can take your customary one for having robot limbs to grab onto. It just makes jumping and grabbing things easier.
Extra robot limbs.
Yeah.
Valentine has an artificial arm that he could use to grab on and hold on.
An artificial hand.
Artificial hand.
Yeah, I'd give you the hand. Sure. That's fine. I always think of Attikus as more as like the robot
Attikus
limbs
is
can
full
just
body.
pull on.
Oh, no,
but yours can similarly create a handhold by just crunching.
It's just an action movie where it makes sense if he catches one hand and can still hold on, unlike every other movie.
100%.
Yeah. All right, let's see what happens. 1 success and 3 advantage.
1 success, 3 advantage.
2 successes, 5 advantage.
Okay.
2 successes, 1 advantage.
Holy shit. All right. So you all successfully leap onto the side of this Titan. As Valentine indicated, like the inside of these things is just a hell of a lot of like stairs and ladders and that sort of thing. Around the waist is where we start to get into more superstructure bits. There's like the core engine in the middle. Also, it should be noted that Titans have a bit of that mech warrior flavor to them, so they aren't like a tall standing man walking. It's like the hunched, kind of high shoulder, gun arms thing. So once you get into the kind of chest cavity, it's where a lot of the guts of the machinery and other things are. Yeah. So whereas the legs are kind of pistons and then stairs, the chest has a bit more shape and function to it. With all of your advantage, dare I ask, do you want your Arcoflagellant and Jeffrey to come with you?
I was going to say, how many do we have total? I got 3.
5.
1.
3, 5, 1.
9 total.
Could we spend 6, so 3 each to bring them across, and the last 3 just to make what Valentyne narratively said true, because for 3 spend, you can negate an enemy's defenses for a round to just get inside and have them not know we're there.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That works for everybody else for spend.
Octavius definitely thinks the scout is you. Again, he doesn't want to kill you. He's fine killing all your friends, but he doesn't want to kill you. And your point about the Skitarii is absolutely correct. There's no one in here because it wasn't operational. It was in for repairs.
Yeah,
so,
if there was Skitarii, they'd be fighting their way to the cockpit currently.
100%. Yeah. But no, this was a like, oh no, oops, all Necrons. Maybe stop tightening the bolts on that Titan and go fight the things that are killing us floor by floor that the Titan is useless to defend against. Great. Okay, so all of you leap aboard, as it were. Meanwhile, upstairs, the various crew are recovering. Wixthrup, I think, comes over to you, Morgan, and just leans down and says, "Did you tell him to do that?"
I didn't. I told him.
Like fist it, like cocks back.
I was going to say, Valentine knows shit's going down in here. Did he hear the message from Blackhand come through his comm beat? Because he left his active on the normal frequency, though it's being bounced.
Oh, then yes, you would have.
Yes.
And then you hear, oh, and then like clunk, 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 smash. He's also a mostly metal man. So like when the floor shifts, he has a bad day.
Yep. Valentine, this is the time where Valentine would respond because he's clever enough to know that if this thing went to a knee, there's only one person inside who's on his team, and this is not a
Sacature
smart
Voidstain.
100. If anybody's saving this party, it's Sacature Voidstain. Not aware of the name change.
Yep. I'll let you do what you're going to do with him in a second. This Wixthrup thing will happen immediately because he'll just like stomp over and, and do it because it's like as soon as it happens. Wixthrup is also like probably Lyric is the more nimble, but she's distracted in dealing with Alto and is also like a demon now, so she's busy with Chaos Warp Thoughts. Wixthrup is the one who's like fucking. Also, he knows Voidstain. He knew Voidstain back on Greybridge. Like we never really got into his feelings about Voidstain, but weirdly, this is a like. We had an idiot bomb and it went off. You know, we knew he was going to do something stupid, and here we are. So so we'll do Morgan's thing, and then I'll cut to
fair enough.
Valentine.
Yeah, it involved Wixthrup, but the timing would keep it later. Which
Oh,
I can understand.
okay.
Well, I know my response, so
Sure.
I will post that in there, and then we'll see how this plays
great.
forward.
Sure.
Is she struggles for a minute because she was thinking maybe I can get to a door, maybe I can get to a place, and then has to look at this and has to jet back into what she's doing, and like a single tear rolls down her cheek as she looks Duke Wixthrup right in the eyes, and she says, I just told him I love him."
Ooh, okay, let's get that deception check.
I know, but trying to fuck with this man who I know has feels.
You got his number. You got his secret number.
Right.
Okay, so this one is I'm going to say difficulty 4, and he's got adversary 2.
All right.
Oh dear.
I'm going to give you a boost for how stupid he thinks Voidstain is. Like it's believable that this hopeless romantic would do this on his own.
Okay.
Give you a boost for your already heightened emotional state because you were already playing the big. You didn't have to like.
I didn't
go
have
from
to
like,
get there.
Oh no! It was like you were already weeping and sobbing. I'm also going to give you a boost for him only knowing about you from the early rounds of the thing and from the myriad stories he's had to sit through with Voidstain, and none of these suggest you're as duplicitous as Valentine and Attikus. Yeah, it like
I've laid this groundwork so hard.
I was so curious about how Greybridge was going to play out at the end because I knew that we'd get to this point eventually, and it's really funny to me that he just doesn't have the context for the full scout. He didn't get the full con, so he's just like, Attikus is a real prick. You seem fine. So, we'll take all of that. And I will also give him give you a boost for just him being distracted by everything else that's going on.
Yes.
This is a problem, but you didn't do it. You don't have any weapons.
Sitting here.
Yeah. So you got a lot of boost.
Okay.
I will give you a setback for the horrific psionic scream that is emitting from Alto right now.
Yeah.
As well as the machine around you.
Yeah.
Again, the machine spirit does not love being plugged into a weird chaos boy.
Yeah.
So there's just kind of it's like loud tinnitus. It's just a real
This is a
rough, bad
pandemonium.
bad thing. I think that's it.
Okay.
How are we looking for story points?
We've got 2. Tom's got 3.
Okay.
I'm going to use one.
Yeah, it's a good-
so I
it's a
don't
good
get
time to do it.
smacked in the face
With a
potentially.
Power fist, yeah, it's usually a good.
I know how those hit. I don't know if I can.
Wait, is it a power fist now? Because the gold arm was specifically not
It's
a power
upgraded.
He
fist.
has
It's been 10
upgraded it.
years.
It's- I will say it's
This son of a
it's
bitch.
It's not a full power fist because it's not that size, but and statistically, I've made it not.
It's still a metal
It's
hand.
still big.
Well, he's upgraded. It's basically the equivalent of like if you have a Winter Soldier arm and you see a power fist, you're like, I want this to be that, and people are like, well, we can't do that, but what we can do is like jack it up so that it hits harder and has those
Here's the
feels.
fist we
in it.
have at home.
Yeah, so it's been modified to be essentially like power fist light.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it doesn't
A
deal.
pneumatic fist. as
Yeah,
well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't deal as much damage, and it doesn't have the like. It's got some of the same qualities, but it doesn't punch quite as hard because
Still very scary.
yeah. But
Oh, very scary, but now I can picture it exactly in my
Yeah.
brain.
All right. This is
been 10
kind
years.
of
He-
almost
he lives with an
50-50
evil priest.
basically.
Come on, baby.
I'm gonna puke. Oh, it's a Tommy roll.
no.
It's 3 successes.
Okay, I gotta write this
3 threat. 1 triumph.
Yes.
1 despair.
That's everything. God damn.
So I
that's
succeeded.
everything.
Okay,
But what happened?
3 success, 3
3
threat,
threat. 1 triumph.
1 triumph,
1 despair.
1
They don't
despair.
cancel
This
each
is
other.
the
out.
time.
they all-
Triumphs and despairs
This is the
only.
time.
They all just resolve.
Yeah.
They could can
They could
according
cancel
to
each
Genesis
other.
they do, but we don't give a crap about
Yeah,
Genesis.
okay.
We
We
play
like
our
the
game.
med.
Yeah.
Shit gets weird here.
Oh
Gets
man.
fucking crazy.
It's the warp.
Okay, Morgan. Well, this is a weird one.
Yeah.
And I think I've got it. You're not gonna like it.
Oh.
shit.
I wanted to like it.
So you succeed in convincing him that you didn't
Yeah.
think so. He doesn't pulp your head. So that's the
That's-
success.
Okay.
The triumph, I'm going to say that as everyone is like getting back to their business around the head of the Titan, Lyric is just hunched over Alto, like almost like, like almost in a hug, but almost using his hands to guide things. And is just like hissing horrific demon spit at anyone who comes near them. So I'm going to say that she is basically, because of the damage to the Alto thing, because it's not really Alto anymore, she is basically out of combat. So you can tell that she's not taking orders and she's not fighting anything else.
Okay.
She's just purely focused on that.
Right.
So you're going to remove her as a combatant from the upcoming thing.
What upcoming things?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The upcoming massacre where everyone surrenders to the Inquisition and submits to their
come peace.
execution.
Hands up. For the despair, though, Wickstrop is going to look down at you and just sort of smile sadly and say, yes, love does make stupid men do stupid things. And he reaches out and he wraps his hand around yours. And I'm going to roll to see which hand he gets. But he just says, even so, I can't trust you to do something stupid as well. And he's going to crush one of your hands.
Okay.
He's going for your shooting hand, but he doesn't know which one that is.
That's true.
And action is going to kick back in before he gets a chance to break both of them. So is Morgan left or right-handed?
Morgan's right-handed.
Oh, if you hadn't told him.
Well, it doesn't
just
matter.
gonna lie
I'm rolling a dice.
Roll the
so-
deception against the GM.
Yeah. I tricked you.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. I was just curious. So I don't have a D2 on this. I only have a D100. So I'm going to say 1 to 50 is your left and 51 to 100 is your right. Does that seem fair and reasonable?
That seems fair and reasonable.
Come on, low roll.
71.
All right.
Reaches out and
Yikes.
just crushes your right hand.
Yeah, that's legitimately like a.
Yep. And he releases it and then starts to reach for the other one. But then Black Hand is like, get over here, you idiot. My chaos dog isn't doing its thing. I need your help. And Wixthrop just kind of gets up and moves back over, goes to put a hand on Lyric, and she like her head turns around 360 and hisses at him, and he's just kind of takes his hand away and says, "My lord, if you want to deal with it, you may. I can't be of much service here. I'm better at the punching." And Blackhand just like throws up all of his servo arms and just grabs up his fucking microphone again. He's like, "Valentine!" So fucking mad.
Yep. The rest of us are making our way up through the Titan into position, but Valentine will answer the call because, as we said, he's ready for the second part of his play.
You have a thing. Now, we do have some floating threat that I just want to acknowledge as a thing we still need to contend with.
Not just straining me?
I mean, the hand severing could justify it, but Tom can hang on to it if he wants.
Gives you a strain for your hand breaking. It doesn't tear it off. He just crushes it.
It's just extra bones than it used to be now.
Yeah.
More bones.
More bones.
I got more bones now.
Down here, everything is half. All right, Valentine, you pick up the call.
Valentine will come over the comms because he knows if this Titan has staggered, there are two ways this is played. Morgan made the move, she's dead. Or, more likely, Morgan convinced someone else to make the move, which means this group can be emotionally fractured. So his ploy, he basically considers Voidstain to be an idiot, and he's not sure who could be convinced, but he's pretty sure the one who he can manipulate the most is Duke Wixthrop. So he's just hoping the Duke is hearing the call, because if this is coming through a transponder from Toby, odds are it's on speaker.
Sure is.
And he's going to come through and say, "Blackhand, you fool, with your clumsy last cannon fire, you killed the Colonel. You killed him."
Who's the Colonel?
Colonel Attikus Viss, a.k.a. Lord Francois Van Houten. Undoubtedly members of your band wanted their vengeance, but they sided with you, a heretic, and now it's cost them everything.
All right, I need a deception check. Such a fucking good play.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
All right, so deception, this is going to be, we previously said difficulty 4 for Morgan. I'm going to say difficulty 3 for you, Valentine, because you don't have as much reason to lie and you're not talking to him directly.
Mm-hmm.
So he still has adversary 2, so that's 2 red, 1 purple.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a boost for Wixthrop being pissed off at Blackhand.
Yep.
About being asked to handle, like, don't buy a Chaos Dog if you don't want to deal with the Chaos Dog, you know?
Yeah.
Very simple. Boost for tugging the heartstrings. Boost for him having literally just had this conversation with Morgan.
Yes.
I think the fact that he's in the mind of like love making people do foolish things. He's already a little in his feels. I'm gonna spend a story point to make this real jaunty. So I believe that brings us back to 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it would, but I'm also going to spend a story point because this is big story time moments.
Spice.
Oh, so spicy. Okay.
Spice.
Oh man, spice must flow. Okay, so got all of that, and I'm going to throw a setback on it for Blackhand just trying to interrupt this line of like, I'm sure there's a bit of like, sorry, I can't hear it, like yelling over it. Like he hearing this, even though he doesn't know you're lying, he does know this is tremendously bad. He's trying to like stuff it in his robe, but like the message is clearly.
Considering Wixthrop is a political animal, if Blackhand is covering it up, I feel like that could be a setback and a boost, because if he's covering it up, it might be more true, but he could succeed in deafening it out. Or is it just a setback? I'm fine with whatever. I just want to pitch it. We're just adding more dice for more chaos now.
Suspicious.
I'm going to give you, this is so stupid. This is me stabbing myself in the back. I'm going to give you a boost for the aristocratic setback I constantly gave everyone because Wixthrop is naturally suspicious.
That makes even more sense.
So as the second Blackhand's like, oh, hang on. What? Sorry, I can't hear you.
I got to take his phone off speaker. Yeah.
Something's afoot.
This is the opposite of Hikari nonsense.
No, this
right?
is good. This is just paying off on all the aristocratic bullshit from Greybridge. Cool. I think I think that's it, unless we want to add a setback for a starstruck Gideon being like, "Oh, the Duke, hello," but I don't think. I think he's
I'm
cheating.
the only one.
heritage.
His com beat's off.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we're safe. I'm the only one who's got a com beat.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Also,
fair,
you
fair.
probably not mind to like, oh, the Duke, I must burn him.
You've seen his name on a list.
That's captivating.
Grotesquely.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
This is the craziest roll I have ever rolled in the history of the show.
Can you tell
just so
somebody-
we can set the
Look at
stakes.
that.
Yep.
Yep.
We are at 3 yellow, 3 red, 4 blue, 1 black.
Jesus.
Fuck.
Okay.
All right, shit is getting fucking nuts. We have 2 success. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 threat
God.
and a triumph.
Inquisition.
7.
7 threat.
Spicy.
God damn.
The threat train is here.
Let's take another break.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Josh Halbot, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC.com. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum-Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: George Dolby, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Alarain Okapi, Madre de Gatos, Mithrian, Garbo Ape, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, Megan Werner, A Man Out of Time, Curtis at FingerTechRobotics.com, Panda24NN, Shendra D, Your Homeboy Bones, Ellis Hatch, Odigenous, Kai Koa, Squire Solaire, Sandy Sassy Pants, Amira Lockhart, James Molina, Nick Hemsing, Alex LaFountain, Mickey Blake, Seth Cambron, Corpse Knight Silver, Adamir 101, The Dankler, Anticore 7, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.